few years ago, I bought this gun off some bastard online instead of going to the store in an effort to save like $50. And I never even got around to using it. It just sat in the safe. And one day, over a year later, I was looking at it and realized it's all fucked up inside. It's jammed or something. And there's no way to load it. I don't know whether it's an easy fix or not. I tried taking it apart with an Allen key and couldn't figure it out. A month or so ago, the federal government announced that what they categorize as assault-style firearms, 350 or so, will be banned, citing their reason as the 35-year anniversary of some mass shooting. And they officially publicized their objective of sending the seized guns to Ukraine. One last kick in the balls from Trudeau. And guess whose defective Mauser M15 is on that list? I'm not looking to make an enemy out of Ukraine, and I recognize that I live in the region with the largest diaspora of those people in the world. I'm not looking to make an enemy out of them either. I sincerely don't give a fuck about empowering either country, but if you're using such an illegitimate means of arming yourself, you're gonna get screwed with by the end user. No reason for that to be controversial. Nobody's cared about this war in years. No matter what your motivation is for enlisting to go to war in any country, you're inherently a sucker and an imbecile and a victim. Which is not to say I have no sympathy for you, but what you do, ignorant as it may be, should be very scrutinized because you enable and perpetuate what is expected from other people. There's no conceivable state entity in history that can take less from you than you take from it or your family when it's about to take your life. Were they drafted? Is there conscription in Ukraine? Probably. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they throw you in jail. It's a matter of, I'd say it's a matter of dying on your feet rather than living on your knees. But wait, hold on. In which scenario are you dying again? It's literally a matter of living on your feet or dying on your knees. You may be saying, Sebastian, maybe what you're saying is true, but some poor Ukrainian child could die as a result of, if there's no quality control on this arms seizure, he won't be able to defend himself because of you. If you value both teams equally, a defective gun in battle will save multiple lives. Possibly at the expense of the one who has it, but who knows. What are they going to charge me with? Treason? Against who? Go fuck yourself. The pursuit of legal gun ownership was a treacherous experience that I wouldn't recommend to anybody. It seems that I'm not eligible for the buyback program because my license is too new. How the fuck can they justify that? I should have had my license at that time because I was around when I applied, but they took a goddamn year to issue it. And in the meantime, they outlawed all handguns. All I really wanted was a revolver to be a gangsta. So I bought the mandatory non-restricted class, was around 150, and then the restricted class was another 150. There was no way of getting out of it. You couldn't do just one without the other. You had to do both. I had to buy a safe, of course, and then of course the gun itself. I tried calling them to ask why I'm not eligible. They didn't answer the fucking phone.
Hello, bonjour. Le message en français suivant. You have reached Public Safety Canada's General Inquiry Service. For all other inquiries, please leave us a detailed message including your name, telephone number with area code, and the reason for your call. Someone from the department will get back to you as soon as possible. Vous avez rejoint le service de renseignements généraux de Sécurité publique Canada. Si vous avez reçu un appel d'une personne se faisant passer pour un représentant de Sécurité publique Canada
under false pretenses, please Send an email at your earliest convenience. Submit. Shit. Darn it. Look at this. Oh, fuck. Damn, I'm so clumsy. Fuck. Jesus. So if you take a look at this. Fuck. Not again. Many soldiers from history would coat their bullets in like citrus fruits and garlic to get it in the enemy's bloodstream. And when the target is a lousy, evil Russian, it would be my pleasure to help them with that. Put some in the, where's the release switch? Yeah, there we go. Need fucking a lot of that. The more the merrier, right? Don't blame me. Blame the guy who knowingly sold me this thing when it was fucked up. I think his name was Joban or something. I don't know how to pronounce it. Part of me wants this video to not get a shit ton of views, so there's no consequences. But if you liked it and you want to share it with your friends, do what you gotta do. I'm not a maniac. I have reason to believe that this screw was manufactured in Russia. I'm gonna hold on to this for safekeeping. I wonder if it would be too edgy to drink a Corona out of this barrel.
Canadian Firearms program.
Hi there. I have some questions about the newly prohibited firearms. In the interest of trying to kind of get it over with, but I've also seen online that I'm not eligible for the buyback program.
RCMP line, like the police line, and then they would arrange a date and time. They would come pick that up from you and dispose of it.
Okay.
I can give you the Public Safety Canada's phone number, and they would be able to answer all your questions regarding the buyback program, and they'd be able to give you information directly pertaining to your firearm.
All right, I send them an email. Yeah, I guess I'll get in touch with the RCMP.
Reach the Saskatoon District RCMP. For emergencies, hang up the call 911. For calls requiring police assistance, press 1. For criminal record checks, press 2. For file updates, regarding a police officer's call, or other detachment services, press 3. Your call is being transferred. Please hold. If this is an emergency, please hang up and call 911. Otherwise, please leave a message, including your... I've reached the Saskatoon District RCMP. For emergencies, hang up. For file updates, regarding a police officer's call. So, please leave your message and then press the pound.
I guess not coming.
Open the damn door! Open the damn door! Open the door! Who is it? Open the motherfucking door! See your hands up. Get down.
You know, the idea of Ukraine being occupied by Russia is not so different from the idea of Alberta being occupied by this country. Alright, Russia is at war with them, which I think we can all agree isn't less of a peaceful means of colonization. But it is another territory with a different series of cultures occupied by what many would agree is the wrong nation state. While I got your attention with the previous thing, we gotta talk about other current events. Trump was teasing Trudeau and characterizing this place as the 51st state. In my view, he seems to be misinformed on just how many undesirables are here and how you don't want to share a country with them. You don't want to share a country with all these total losers. I'm a big fish in a small pond. I'm sort of an advocate for Alberta sovereignty, but on some days I see the glass half empty perspective, which is that Alberta is the 51st state that failed. Because while leaving is and hasn't been exactly an unpopular opinion, it's never been enough to be a majority. I support Wexit, but it's not from a sense of nationalism for Alberta.
Just not bothering people.
I don't really plan to stay here forever, and soon enough I'll be harvesting.
You're great, guys. You got this. Let's go, guys.
But people should want it.
Let's go, guys. Let's
more out
go.
of
Muhammad Ali got
for
this.
Ottawa.
Muhammad Ali got you, guys.
I guess I just
guys.
don't recognize their claim to these lands. Unfortunately, for every person who agrees, two blustering naysayers will appear out of nowhere to gaslight you with a smug, cock-sucking grin. They promise that having no coastline will destroy Alberta's economy. I've got news for you, pal. Interprovincial tariffs already fucking exist. Are you trying to tell me that some amount of protection from Ottawa is a better deal than sovereignty? Are you trying to tell me the landlocked country of Switzerland is not one of the wealthiest in the world? And they're just known for banking and pencil pushing and less than tangible sectors of the economy. They don't have world-class logging, agriculture, and the oil patch. Maybe they have like sparkling water that they sell for $20 per bottle. They don't produce anything. Botswana is landlocked, and it's one of the kind of more well-off countries in Africa, relatively. I know GDP isn't everything, but landlocked US states do just fine for GDP. But with all that being said, the fear-mongering doesn't work on me, because the economy is not as important to me as Alberta seceding out of pride and out of hate for Ottawa. Reciprocate their hate. And it should not be a bipartisan type issue. Here's something I said in a video I made like 3 years ago. It's currently unlisted due to the unwatchable audio quality. So if you have sensitive ears, maybe skip ahead a few seconds.
Greetings, Hunger. I say it should have been entered on national level. No rumors should find your temperature of the fact that will attract you to a country that fucking hates it. Based on that, the idea of Brexit could have been some serious traction. And instead we have old men beat down, bank accounts frozen, and millions of hard-earned dollars used in the name of the very same flag that protests will be flying.
Western sovereignty was a notion that always resonated with me, but it was exacerbated when I left for a year, went to Ontario in one of the most deplorable years in its history. It's not Sodom and Gomorrah in the sense that there's white people with dreadlocks and people with discs in their ears, people with their ears disked like you see on White Avenue, because even shit like that is too creative even for the likes of them. Milk is sold in bags there, And creativity is a swear word in Ontario, in case you didn't know. I lived there for 1 year, and since it was illegal for me to go to the gym without the clot shots, I had to find one that asked no questions and I told them no lies. They had like a pit bull in there that would bark at people. And when I told them not to renew my membership, the owner of the gym bitched at me. I don't know, like I owed him my patronage. Anyway, that was the kindest man I met there. Like I said, the people look normal, but if you look past their eyes, at the best, maybe you'll see their crippling mortgage woes, an oppressive mortgage, and generational debt. But behind some of their eyes is an evil so hideous that it's beyond comprehension.
They're fucking us! The suits! And they don't even wear suits! Wolves in turds' clothing!
In 2021, this province re-elected Trudeau based on his only big campaign issue, and they had radio ads for this. His only big campaign promise was to ban people like me from planes and boats. And that got him re-elected. And 2 years later, they all moved to Alberta, all the gentry, strictly to gentrify, not influenced by the government or anything else, just the economy, just the housing market, rather. And now I guess Trudeau is suddenly unpopular after all these years. I guess the recession got marginally worse after the last election. But I reckon Trudeau and Biden are scapegoats. Nobody gives a fuck about all the blood on their hands. They're getting voted out based on all the US dollars that are being printed. All this money being printed that began while Trump was in office. This Instagram account about Newfoundland independence has no shortage of harsh criticisms in the comment section. I don't quite understand why, other than that the account guy comes across as something of an easy target. But I still don't get the pathology behind their criticisms of it. If the thought of this island you've never been to being a sovereign state pisses you off enough to leave a comment in the comments section about it, you seem like you see yourself as a shareholder of the country who stands to benefit from this island. Almost like you're their employer and they're your subordinates. They're unionizing or whatever. But I still don't get it. There's this ad for WestJet that I saw. Look at this ad. This is a big billboard on a wall at the Calgary airport. And these two flight attendants or whatever, they look like the most boring people on the face of the earth. That's what people from Canada look like. That is not what people look like in Newfoundland. That's just not their phenotype. I've been lucky enough to go there several times, and it is a cultural stronghold. It's approximately like half Irish, half English. Historically, many of their towns were kind of isolated and they only traveled between them by boats. The southeast part of the island was closer to get to England and Ireland than it is to get to Canada by boat. I can't think of other examples to compare it to of such a different culture being occupied by this kind of country. Maybe something like Puerto Rico, but that's not even a state. The idea for Alberta to join the US isn't as far-fetched as you think it is. There are historical precedents that are being deliberately hidden from you. I was in Alberta just last weekend and decided to visit the Royal Alberta Museum on 97th Street. They had no record of what I'm talking about, what I'm about to inform you of. And schools are telling the youngins, you need to go and apologize to an Indian right now, because your ancestors were fur traders from Scotland who oppressed them in the name of Her Royal Majesty, the Queen of England. They don't want you to know that in the 1890s and early 1900s, Wikipedia says that 600,000 farmers came from the states, mostly from the Midwest, to Alberta and Saskatchewan. 600,000 looks like a typo. That's pretty unbelievable unless it's like a broader period of time. Even assuming they meant to write 60,000, that is still an extremely significant number, especially proportionate to the population in those times. Redcoats would have been almost outnumbered, if not actually outnumbered. So it is fair to say that over a third of people in Alberta have Americans in their lineage. Most of my ancestry is from Spain and Germany, but I got a small amount of English blood that would have come through Oklahoma, farmers from Oklahoma, probably not distributors of smallpox. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I sound like a hypocrite because why did I condemn nationalism for Ukraine? I kind of do condemn nationalism in general, especially when you don't stand to benefit and you stand to lose. Gonna get yourself killed over it. But also a difference between the US and the Ukraine is the United States matters, both on a global scale and also just the close proximity. It might also be news to you that Alberta and Saskatchewan were supposed to be one province called Buffalo, and it was divided with the decidedly transparent objective of disempowering them both. There's also no record of this at that museum. And I doubt they're withholding these things just because they suppose it's not interesting enough. No, it's obviously being censored so as not to facilitate people being more in touch with their cultural roots.